Hi everyone, this is Ajay Upadhyay and I would like to welcome you to this EduBrite University webinar on training credits. Yeah, I am joined with two more colleagues, Manish and Brian. Brian is going to discuss about the training credit concepts in detail, and Manish will show a demo of this functionality. I'm going to be playing the role of the moderator for this session. In this session, we will cover the training credit functionality from the seller's perspective as well as from the buyer's perspective. Some housekeeping rules for the session. So please post your questions in the chat box in the GoToWebinar control panel. You can post your questions anytime. We will be taking up those questions periodically whenever there's a logical break, or all of those questions which we cannot address during the session, we will be addressing at the end of the session. The session will also be recorded and it will be posted on the university.edubrite.com for any future references. With this, I'd like to hand over to Brian. Brian, you may start.
Thank you, Ajay. So, as Ajay mentioned, we're going to be talking about training credits and from various perspectives. What are training credits? They are essentially the means of sharing and redeeming a bulk purchase of prepaid training, oftentimes at a discounted rate. You can think of these as a virtual debit card or gift card for use when redeeming training credits for paid courses, rather than coffee or something to that extent. So they're very useful and they're mostly beneficial to the seller and the buyer. For the seller, they can easily upsell training during the contract negotiation of the sales process for any increased revenue. They can also leverage scale by providing volume discounts to customers when they're buying in bulk. And they can reach international audiences without having to offer worldwide currencies. So rather than setting up the e-commerce with each currency type for each worldwide currency, they can just use training credits in their default payment type and work with it that way. Likewise, unlike some systems that have prescribed amounts of times that are set in their duration, like 1 year or 2 years, EduBrite offers the customization, user customization of the validity durations. So they can, seller can set it up to any duration that they would like. For the buyer, the main thing is that it provides flexibility when the number of trainees or course consumption rate is unknown. Oftentimes, when people are just getting started, they don't necessarily know how many learners there are going to be or how many courses that each learner is going to take. Likewise, the buyer can purchase training centrally on one budget and distribute it to teams within an organization. So it's ideal for training initiatives or training campaigns, large projects, and it's also ideal for end-of-year budget purchases when you have to use it or lose it with any remaining budget you have for that fiscal year. The seller, or rather the buyer, can delegate the training credit ownership to one or more individuals to manage and assign. So the buyer doesn't have to be the one to manage that. And then that owner can then view the current balance and proactively manage their training credit usage. So they can see how much is left, how much has been used, so remaining balance and everything. It also simplifies reporting and training expense tracking because you have much fewer transactions with just buying a pack of training credits rather than each individual doing a transaction with the system. And the learner, in certain situations, can enroll in paid training directly, transparently bypassing the payment page. So no transaction would be necessary. They would just see the enroll icon or word link to advance and it would seamlessly be making the debit of the training credits. So I'm going to pass it over to Manish at this point, and he's going to demonstrate the functionality that we've just talked about. And you can take it from here, Manish.
All right, thank you very much, Brian. Thanks, Ajay. So let me share my screen here. Give me 1 second. All right, so we'll continue here. So essentially, as Brian has discussed, that there are two primarily actors in this training credit process, a seller and buyer. And seller, essentially, you can think of more like some organizations who already have universities set up, their online programs are set up, and they offer a variety of courses. These courses could be a classroom training, they could be online courses, could be a virtual training. So the training credit essentially is giving a flexible option for them in addition to the traditional currency options which we generally see in usage. Now, from a buyer perspective, there are two roles essentially you will see. There is going to be a role of a manager, the person who's going to be purchasing the training credits, and then the learners who is going to be actually consuming it. So we'll go through this flow in the actual system demo, and then we'll cover these steps which are defined in the flow. So I'm not going to walk you through the flow here. So let's just directly jump onto the platform here. So here, this is a demo site which we are going to use for today's discussion. And I have logged in this site as the LM administrator. So LMS administrator essentially is representing here the seller who basically would perform certain steps to enable this training credit functionality. So let's start with the step one. The first step you would need is to enable the training credit functionality. So as a LMS administrator, you will go into the site admin site detail area, and here you will go into the payment integration details. Now, those of you who are already familiar with the EduBrite e-commerce functionality, or those who are already using the e-commerce or multi-currency, must be familiar with this screen. So in this screen now, to enable the training credit, what you have to do is you need to first select this option called support multiple currencies. Now, this supporting multiple currencies enables these different currency options, but now you will see one additional option, that is the training credit option, which is we are discussing today. So this essentially, you will enable this training credit option here. Then in addition to that, there's another option which you need to enable, is called the enable purchasing training credit. So essentially now you are allowing the purchaser on the buyer side, who could be a manager or anybody, to basically purchase the training credit. So with these two options, once you enable it, this enables the training credit functionality. Now, once you do that, you will notice on the side admin side, a new menu item will show up called training credits. So let's just go in the training credits. So the next step here, after you enable the training credit functionality, is to set up the training credit definition. And this is where essentially you will be setting up the validity period of the training credit. So if somebody is purchasing the training credit, what is the duration these training credits are valid? So you can define that duration here. You have complete control and flexibility of defining that duration here. The second option you have is, because as Brian has mentioned earlier, that from a seller's perspective, the option is to sell in bulk. So here you can define the training credits in terms of the packs. So you can essentially say that you are selling a pack of in one pack, how many training credits are going to be included. So in this case, we are saying that 10 training credits are going to be included. What users, the purchaser is going to buy essentially a pack. They will buy one pack. That means they will buy 10 training credits. If they buy two pack, they will buy 20 training credits. So that's essentially the multiples you can define here. The second thing which you can define here is the currency. So essentially what you're saying, that one pack would have a 10 training credit, and the value of 10 training credits will be 1,000 US dollar. If you have multiple trading currency options enabled, then you will see that that you can allow your buyer to purchase training credits in different currencies also. So those options will show up here. And then definitely you can define the payment method, how a buyer is going to make a purchase of this, whatever payment method which you are using, that you can select here. This is very similar to any online courses which you are selling using single or multiple currencies. So this is going to be the step 2. After step 2, the third step is going to be, now you need to define the training credits on the catalog item. So let's just go to the catalog items here, and you will see there are many catalog items that are available here. So we can, for example, select any of the catalog items. So for example, if I select this integration in SSO, so this is in EduBrite is a course session, and you can edit the course session, and this is where if you are using already the e-commerce functionality, you used to see the currency option here, which now you will see an additional option here, which allows you to define the training credit here. So this is where you will set up the training credit for all the catalog items which you want to enable to be purchased from the training credit. So it's completely flexible with you how you want to select the which items you want to allow to be available through the training credit. So these are going to be 3 main steps which seller would need to perform: enable the functionality, set up the training credit definition, and set up the catalog items. Now that completes the seller's setup. Now let's review this from the buyer perspective. So I'm going to change my browser and go on to from a learner's perspective here. So now I'm on the same site. I am coming as a learner. Right now I'm wearing a hat of a manager who is interested in buying the training credits. So I can go to the catalog and I would see all the different items those are available for my team to purchase or my team to enroll into. And I'll see one more option now here called buy training credits. So I'm going to buy training credits for my team in this case. So I'll just simply go here, select this option, and provide my detail. If I already have an account, I can sign in. Otherwise, I can just simply create a new account here. So let me just create a new account in this case. And then, so now I'm on the payment page once I provide my personal information. So this is where I can say how many training credits pack I want to purchase. So you can see that I want, let's say if I want to purchase 20 training credits, and I know if one pack contains the 10, you can see that information here and the duration. So I can just see that here. If there's any coupon code available for getting a discount of purchasing training credit, you can use that. Otherwise, you can start providing your payment information to make a purchase of the training credits here. So let me just put this information here. And this we are going to show, this is integrated with the PayPal. So we'll just quickly put some date here and the CVN number, and then to complete the purchasing cycle. So once I complete the purchasing cycle of a training credits, you will see this just a quick confirmation of that, and you will receive an email. Otherwise, you can also stay in the system and you can access this information 2 places. Either you can go to the dashboard, and in the dashboard you will see a messages here that payment is processed and the system has issued a coupon code, and this is a coupon code which essentially you are going to distribute to your learner who can make use of this coupon code to purchase it. You can go from the dashboard, or you can also use the inbox functionality. If you go to the inbox, you will see a new message has been sent to you, and then you will notice that this particular email says, or a message says, that there is a coupon code that has been issued with this number. So you can distribute this coupon code to your team. So essentially the purchasing process for training credit is very simple, like buying any catalog item. Now, once this coupon code is available to you, you can distribute to your team. Now I'm going to show you the usage of this coupon code from the learner's perspective, whom you have distributed this coupon code. So I'll go to the same catalog screen which I've gone just a few minutes back here. And again, I'm using this a third browser here just to cover all the cases. And the user would see whatever courses they are interested in, they can click on it, they can see the detail, and once they are ready to purchase, they can simply click on a buy here. And in this case, so I'm going to use new user. And again, if they have an account, they can simply log in. So that option is always available. All right. So once I go inside this, now we know that this particular item in the previous screen we have seen was available for $400 and it was available for 4 training credits. So in this case, I can select the option of a training credit, and just simply you can see once I selected that option, all the payment information is gone, and I can just simply use the coupon code which has been given to me by my manager and just click OK, and that message essentially says that it is enrolling into the courses because you already have a training credit available. And as a user now, I have logged in and I can just continue to take this course which I'm enrolled into. So I can make more and more purchases depending upon what exactly I'm doing for my learning activities. At this time, if I go back onto the view of this purchaser, the manager who made a purchase, they can go to the my items and they have an option here called a menu called a coupon code. If they go here, they will see the same coupon code which they have distributed. So let me just click on this. Now this is where they would be able to see that that this is the coupon code which they have purchased, just some duration of it, how many times it is used, how many total training credits those are used, and what is the current balance of it. So they have a full tracking of it. The purchaser have a full tracking available, and they can also see that who have made purchased against this particular training credits or the coupon which they have purchased. So they can see that this particular user has enrolled on such and such time on they purchased this particular item code, and essentially however this shows the number of training credits that are used by this. So this is one of the simplest flow which you can have in the platform. Then there is another option which is available is for those organizations where the setup is already done. You have already created the groups for your customers, and you already have the group admin from your customers. If you have that kind of a setup already available in the platform, then what you can do is, let me just quickly go there. So for example, I have a setup here. I'm back as a LMS administrator. So I'm back as a seller here, a seller's administrator. So for all different customer, I may have different groups. Those are already set up. So for example, if this particular new sign up that has happened, let's say if it belongs to a customer 3 group, what I can do is, just to simplify their operation, is I can add these 2 users which I had into this group. So let me just add these users to a group. So I'm going to use the user 959, I think that, yeah. So this is the particular user which I used was the purchaser. So I'm going to add this user as an administrator inside the group. And then there was another user which was just a regular user or a learner. I will also put this user inside this group, but I will put this user as a learner inside a group. So the reason I'm doing setup right now, in many organizations, this setup is already in existence. So they may have the customer related group. In the customer group, they may have 1 or 2 administrator, and they have then tens of users who are already part of that group. So those, so it's a similar setup I have just done. So the purpose of this setup is it gives another flexibility for the buyer. What buyer can do is, you can see I'm back onto the buyer side of it. They are on their coupon screen. They see an option here called a change group here. What they can do is they can assign this coupon code to a group. And what it does, it is essentially anybody who's a learner who's a member in that group, it allows them to basically get enrolled into the courses without even needing to use the coupon code. So that is the flexibility it brings. So we'll see that real quick. So let me just first change the group and assign this to group 3. The moment I do that, you will notice an additional piece of information will show up here. Now it is showing that it's the same coupon code, but this coupon code is now associated with a group 3, allowing the members of a group 3 to to enroll into the courses without using the coupon code, because we use what is called an auto apply coupon code method, which is already available in EduBrite platform. So at this point of time, I'm back into the learners view here. If I go into the catalog here, in the catalog now, instead of buy, I will see all the items where the training credits are available to sell through training credits. I will see enroll option. So now I'm not seeing a buy option in most of the items because they are sold through training credits, and my manager has purchased a training credit which has a balance, so I can use that directly to basically make a purchase. So for example, if I'm interested in buying some online training, I can just simply go here and I can just simply enroll into the training, enroll into this online training, or it could be a classroom training, whatever be the case here. So this is a event you can see I've enrolled into, and if I go back onto the buyer's view here and I refresh my screen, I would see that it's the same user, you can see, is enrolled into another catalog item, and this catalog item had 2 training credits which are consumed. So you can see the 2 times total this coupon is used, 6 training credits are used, some of these 2, and the 10 credits are balanced. So you can see in the first case this user had to use a coupon code, and in the second case, because I have created that relationship, assigned the coupon code to a group, and because this particular user is a member of that group, is able to purchase those items where the training credit was enabled. So that this is another option which you could have. Then from the administrator perspective, you can go back onto I'm going back onto the LMS administrator on the seller side of it. On the seller side, if I just need to go onto this reports, for example, I can go to the payment transaction report, I can go to the coupon code report. So let's view both reports. So let's first view the coupon code report. So as a seller, I have a little bit more flexibility in terms of seeing what is happening across the system, because I may be these training credits or the coupon codes may be issued to different customers and all that. So I can just simply go here, see all the details of that report here. I can download this option here. If I'm interested in any specific group, I can just simply drill down here. I can go, for example, training group, and I have shown you that the customer 3 group was created under the training group. So I can just simply go here and it will pull out the same coupon code which we were seeing as a buyer. Now I'm seeing more of a seller. So as a seller also, I have a similar visibility. I can go here and I can just see who was the purchaser of this training credit, and then in addition to that, I am able to see the usage of this particular training credit. So those options are available. And if I'm on a payment transaction report, then payment transaction report also shows all the different purchases those are being made using either training credits, or they are being used using some coupon code, or whether those coupon code belongs to training credit or some other. All those reports will be available to me here on the payment transaction side of it. So let me go back here. So that was primarily I wanted to cover from the buyer and seller's perspective, the flow. And if there are any questions, Ajay, we can take those. Otherwise, we can go to the conclusion.
Yes, I have a couple of questions here in chat. So the first question is, can I exclude some of my most popular courses from accepting credits? Like,
Yes.
I think the situation could be that, there are some courses which they don't want to sell using training credits. Is it possible?
Yes, that is possible. So essentially, In fact, I have an example also, this particular example, which I can show. So in this example, you would notice that this is a item which is available in the catalog. The only the dollar currency option is enabled, not the training credit option is enabled. So if you remember, when I was showing the view from the end user perspective, if I go in the end user, although all other items were available for me to enroll, this was the item you are describing more like a popular item is still available to be sold through only dollar. So this is how you can exclude certain items and they can be paid only through a dollar or some other currencies.
Okay. Another question is about the validity. So what happens if, let's say, I spend $1,000 on purchasing some training credits, and you have set up, say, 12 months expiration, and it expires. So what happens after that? Will I lose that money?
Yeah, I mean, in theory, you do lose that money because that is a duration you need to use. But if there is an arrangement between the buyer and a seller, then seller does have an option because coupon code does carry the end date. So if there is an arrangement between them, seller can extend the expiration date of the coupon code, and that essentially would allow to use coupon code for additional duration.
Okay. So it's not an automatic process. Some communication between the buyer and the seller has to happen.
Absolutely, yeah, because the original agreement between them is to purchase with the validity date. So when it ends, there has to be some communication that needs to be happen, and then that's how a buyer seller can address it.
Okay. Other question is related to I think that's a user interface. So, can you customize the buying button or the flow for buying the training credits? Can it be excluded from the catalog, etc.?
Yeah. So I mean, see, so we have many use cases. There are many customers who have implemented a very customized flow, customized design. So there are some basic customization that can be done. For example, if this button needs to be moved or name needs to be changed, those kind of things can be done. But EduBrite also supports a little bit more further customization. So you can have a full theme-based experience, and in that case, you have a complete flexibility where you want to essentially put that buttons. One good example is EduBrite's university site itself. Like EduBrite has its own university site, and you can see the experience on this site is a little bit more customized. Although we are not selling any course, so you will not see training credit here, but it gives you an idea that there's a huge flexibility available, and EduBrite team can guide you further on that.
Okay. So I have another question. It's about, can you offer a discount code for up to 100% off? So I think it's about probably offering 100% discount on certain thing. Maybe like the purchase might have been done through offline method.
Oh yeah, I get your question. So what happens in the case essentially? Let me go into the coupon code area. So whether you are purchasing a training credit or whether you are purchasing just in some other currencies, seller essentially. So let's say if you have made a purchase through offline mechanism by check or some purchase order, all those. In that case, and the payment could have happened in the currency, and in return, either you can get a coupon code for currency usage or a training credit usage. So essentially you can create a training code, create a coupon code this is I'm talking from a seller perspective. So seller can create a coupon code, and this is where they can offer the coupon code for either a full value discount, or if there is a predefined amount, then they can say that this is a coupon code issued for $1,000. Or in the case of a training credit, they can say that I'm issuing a coupon code for let's say 20 training credits, and then this coupon code can be issued and then essentially distributed to, for example, in this case, let me just quickly save it here, and you will see this coupon code has been issued, and then they can issue this coupon code to the person who have made a purchase for this item.
Yep. All right. So I don't have any more questions in the chat box, but we can continue the discussion. Maybe some of those discussion points may invoke some questions.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Brian, do you have any comments or questions?
No, not at this time. Thanks, Manish. I haven't seen any others come through.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me add a few things here. So essentially, like the fundamental use of training credit can be in many types of training scenario. Most commonly, we have seen that the customer education teams, especially in the enterprises, are using it heavily. So like, the situation would be that some of your customers who are other enterprises might have some budget allocated for training in a year. So these customers can purchase the training credit for the entire year using that budget and use it throughout the year by giving those coupons to their team members. And then at the end of the year, like, if they used it, it's good. If they didn't use it, generally they lose it. So that's the kind of typical model in practical we have seen. But it may not necessarily be the only use case. There may be applicability of these training credits in any kind of B2B scenario. Generally B2B, it's very uncommon to see it in a B2C type of environment because there is no gain from the user's point of view if they are buying the credits just for themselves, unless you are giving them some heavy discount if they buy it upfront. So those are the two use cases which are like very common for implementation by the training credits.
Great. And I just from a personal experience also, I know that for like we are a software company and we have a big software team who is working using different technologies. So we have purchased from a technology providers. We have, on the receiving side, we have purchased the training credits basically to we had some budget allocated and we didn't know whom to train because we are hiring new peoples and all that. So that is a flexibility which Ajay is talking about, Brian was talking about, that if you have a new hire, they need to go to training, you have a certain money allocated and then you can send these users. And so you can, your plan on using the training credits can be completely flexible throughout the duration of that, those availability of those training credits.
Yeah, and also especially like I think it's very helpful in doing the global business also. So like people may have like customers in different countries, and those customers might need to pay in their own local currency. So sometimes what happens is their local currency might not be accepted by the e-commerce gateway that you are using, or there might be some other challenges in accepting their online payment in their local currency. So in all those cases, training credits can be a very effective way of publishing your pricing in another currency, which is like a dummy currency called training credit. And then you accept the payment through some offline manner, like through bank transfer, wire transfer, and then just issue them these training credit coupon, which they can use. So I have another question here in chat box, Nish. So let me read out the question. We currently use coupon code. Once the client runs out, they must call us to buy more. So with this, we would just send them to the course catalog and then they can click buy training credit, but individual can still buy single units. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think let me just elaborate upon the question here. So before training credit functionality, I mean, you were probably already using coupon codes and you were accepting payment, issuing the coupon code. But what was not possible was like, once the coupon code is fully used, the next time purchase again required the seller to again issue a new coupon code. But this can eliminate that dependency. You can just publish the training credit based. You can configure your system for training credits, and that's just let the buyers buy more credits once they have consumed all of the ones. Yeah, and it does not take away individuals' ability to buy a single unit as well. So they can definitely buy individual product by just normal transaction.
Yeah, it's a very good question actually.
Yeah. So it's an add-on functionality rather than like alternate functionality. So,
yeah.
Right. So yeah, I think like if you have to sum it up, all the e-commerce option in EduBrite are kind of like pretty advanced. So we have some simple e-commerce option plus some advanced e-commerce options like group purchase, now training credit, then shopping cart. So some of these options are linked to the subscription tier you may be at. In case of any questions, feel free to check with us either by sending mail to support@edubrite.com or sales@edubrite.com, and we'll be happy to assist.
So this concludes our webinar session. If there are no more questions, Ajay, then we can conclude this. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Brian, Ajay.
Welcome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Yeah, bye-bye.